How's it going, everybody? Today we're gonna be doing some LOMIEN, that is Lotus and Damien. Here I got my combat power. I got 57 million. I got 98% ignore defense. I got 141 crit damage, 433 boss damage. Attack power sitting at 2,734. And yeah, this shouldn't be too hard considering my stats. But yeah, let's get started. Just gonna buff up real quick. All right, make sure we're all good and should be ready. All right, let's go inside. Go hard. All right, so Lotus has 3 phases and they're all pretty simple. I like to use my burst up front so that I have the cooldown timer running while I'm bursting or fighting the boss throughout. I am playing Dark Knight. I am more of a DPM class, so I dish out damage throughout my cooldowns. My bursts are not the craziest bursts, but have pretty good survivability and DPM damage. So here, I'm already at 13%. Essentially, all you gotta do is just dodge all those skills. And if you see that when the floor is like glowing blue, you gotta dodge that because that one-shots you. But that's the only thing that I'm really looking out for. As you can see, I already finished phase 1. Super easy. Skip this and begin phase 2. So phase 2 is also pretty easy. Phase 2 and 3 are pretty much the same. You'll see a lot of attacks that are the same between phase 2 and phase 3. The biggest thing is just you gotta keep moving around. Because there's a lot of skills, a lot of damage, but none of them will one-shot you. There are a couple skills that'll or attacks that'll one-shot you, but you'll see them later on in phase 3. But this is pretty much how you beat Lotus. As you can see, all my bursts are down, so I'm just jumping around trying to dish out as much damage as I can, using all my skills whenever they're on cooldown, and just keep jumping around. Because if you stay in one spot, all the skills or all the attacks from Lotus are gonna start dealing damage on you. Yeah, you do have potions, but there's a cooldown. I think there's like a 5-second cooldown for potions, and yeah, you can easily die. If you look at the top where the timer is, you see that there's only 5 lives, so you really want to try your best to prevent yourself from dying too much, because you want to have all 5 lives at least up to phase 3. So you see that laser beam that like blasts the entire map? You want to avoid that. That's one of the skills. Okay, I died here. But that skill essentially one-shots you if you get caught in there. So that's one of the things that I keep a lookout for. And you can get stunned too, and then get hit by a bunch of attacks from Lotus, and that's what caused me to die that one time right there. But yeah, that's why you got to keep moving. Try your best to dodge the attacks, and yeah. All right, making our way to phase 3. We're making good time. We're only at just a little bit under 5 minutes for phase 3. Yeah, so the goal here is to be able to kill Hard Lotus every week in hopes to, yeah, you can see I'm trying to dodge the skills because I forgot that I'm invulnerable. I actually have a passive, and it prevents me from taking damage for a certain amount of time, and I have increased buff duration, so that passive is actually active longer than it should be. So I'm pretty much invulnerable for like over a minute, and it's pretty OP. That's why I love Dark Knight, because they do a lot of damage for a long time, and their bursts are pretty decent, and it's just a fun class. Really fun class. I like the style, the art style. I like the weapon that they use. Like spear is my favorite type of weapon. But yeah, what was I saying? I started talking about why I love Dark Knight, but going back to like the boss, I still haven't received a pitch item, and pitch items are essentially like these super rare items that you get from these bosses. Well, these bosses in particular are called pitch bosses because they're part of the pitch boss set. They're like the final boss sets in the game, and they're like the strongest items that you can get. However, it's like really hard to get them, especially if you're in Reboot, which I am in Reboot. You can't just buy these items. But yeah, I'm not really fighting hard to get the items, because I know it's really pointless to try to get them at this point, because it's so hard to get. So I'm mostly fighting these bosses for the mesos. Funny enough, I don't have any equips that are 22 stars. I'll probably start 22 starring my CRA. They're currently, my top and bottom are currently sitting at 20 stars. And then my hat, I haven't even reached 20 stars on that yet. But yeah, it's just a meso grind. So here we're almost done. We're at 13%. This boss is pretty easy. I know it looks hard, especially if you've never fought this boss before, but it's actually not as scary as it looks. Like if you just jump around and try to avoid as many attacks as possible, you'll find yourself like killing the boss, and you'll realize how easy it is. Yep, so I killed the boss, and now I'm switching over to my training character preset because I have drop rate over there. I do this each time so that I have a better chance of receiving a pitch boss equipment. For this one, I'm hoping to get Berserk, but let's see if I get it. And I did forget to get the 2x drop, but that's fine. Alright, so as usual, Maplestory decides that we don't deserve any pitch drop set, but that's fine. We're not really looking for that yet. I mean, like, if we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. Like, you can still progress without the pitch boss set. I mean, it's only good, like, when you have, like, the pitch boss set is only good if you have all of the, if you have the full set, right? Because it's like Gollux gear and all the other accessories that you have currently at this point is like, that's the gear that you want to use until you have the complete pitch boss set. At least that's what I've heard from other Maplestory pros. Alright, time for Damien. Now Damien, oh, I hate this boss. Damien is like the worst boss in the game, by far. Only because he likes to run around, and not only that, you have to like avoid that sword whenever it hits the ground because it one-shots you. And those blue balls that are in the sky, you have to avoid those too, because it binds you down, and then if you fail to do the key binds, you die. That purple cloud that came from the ground also one-shots you. And there's also a curse. If you look above my character's head, there's a number. It says 1 out of 7. If that number reaches 7, I die. So it's just really annoying. So Damien, I don't know. I just don't like it because it's hard to do damage to him because he's so small. He runs around the map and it's just hard to catch him. Look at him. He's running away from me. Where are you going? Let me fight you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's just really annoying. So, let's see. I think this was my first or second time fighting hard Damien solo. I typically avoid fighting this because it's really hard to kill this guy. Especially, you'll see what I'm talking about when it gets to phase 2, because in phase 2 there's these balls that follow you around, and if you get hit by the balls or the orbs or whatever, I don't know what percentage, but I feel like it's like 90% damage reduction to the boss. So like, you really have to avoid these balls if you want to deal damage. And the problem is, like, you have to chase Damien around while the balls are chasing you. So it's just a really annoying boss. Like, it's not a creative, like, game style. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's not challenging. It's just annoying. Like, for me, fighting Lotus, it felt challenging and also satisfying. Because you're able to dodge the skills because you can see the skills coming. There's a lot of attacks, right? But you're able to dodge it sufficiently enough to survive and deal enough damage to Lotus, because Lotus doesn't move like crazy, unlike Damien. See, like, I'm trying to do burst and he starts flying up in the air, and I'm just like, dude, stay still. But I'm gonna stop complaining because I'm sure you're tired of it. But if you try to kill Damien, you'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so like right here, I just die. At least I had my passive, but at that point, like, there was nothing I can do. Like, the curse above my head was like 6 out of 7, and the only way to remove it is to like toggle that little shrine thing, but it was in the middle of the attacks, so there was no way I was gonna clear that up. And there's no way to dodge it unless I use like my iframe or something. I mean, even if I use my iframe, like, the curse is still gonna stay above my head, and the timer is gonna continue to count down. So I'll still die in the end. It doesn't really matter. You really have to remove that curse. That shrine's the only way to do it. Yeah. So there's just a lot of really dumb mechanics in Damien. It's just that it doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, like, how am I gonna deal damage while he's up in the air? Like, it's just a waste of time. Like, no, but that's the mechanic. Like, there's the only way to counter that boss attack is to just stand in the corner of the map, which is that's not really a fun game mechanic, right? Like, yeah, the boss is attacking you, so stand at the corner of the map. That's not engaging. It's not fun. It's just a waste of time. Yeah. And the thing with this game is, like, I don't like wasting time. Like, I barely even grind. That's why you can see I'm only 273. Like, I hate wasting time with this game. Like, for me, grinding is a waste of time. Like, it's got to be tied to like an event where I'm getting something. I think I'm just spoiled that way because like I'm just grinding with no events. Like, I'm not doing like a mission. I'm not doing any dailies or anything like that. It's just a waste of time because like if you're gonna be mobbing, you should be getting something out of it. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on how to not waste time on Maplestory, because Maplestory takes a lot of time anyways, like already out of your life. So if you're gonna be playing Maplestory, I feel like I want to be at the most like optimal gameplay. Yeah. See, look at this. I'm just standing at the corner of the map. Like, who thought this was... And I died. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, so I was getting impatient, so I started just going at it, you know, like this boss makes me so impatient, especially like the fact that I'm dealing so little damage because he keeps moving around. Look, my skills are missing because he's like jumping in the air. My goal is to be able to one-shot hard Damien. That's my goal in Maplestory, so that I don't have to deal with this guy. Right, so that blue orb, right? It's following you. It doesn't actually do a lot of damage. Like, it does very little damage. You could actually like stand in the blue orb for a long time. It's not gonna kill you. The only problem with that is you're not gonna be dealing damage to the boss. So that's the only reason why you should be running away from it. Yeah, but the orb itself doesn't kill you. Those fireballs that he shoots out, those things can one-shot you. So I would make sure to run away from that. Also, those slices where he like cuts reality in 3 pieces and it explodes. Those that'll one-shot you, so you want to avoid that as well. So this is like the most annoying part of phase 2, when you got a ball. And the thing is, when his health gets lower and lower, the ball gets bigger. And at a certain point, I think around like 10% health, a second ball appears. So not only that the ball gets bigger, but now you're running away from 2 balls. That'll reduce your damage to about 90%. I say 90% because like you'll see my damage, right? I'm doing like 1 to 2 to 3, 4 bill. It'll change to like 300 mil real quick, and that's like no damage. Is it 300 mil or I can't even tell? It's probably 300k or something like that, but it's like nothing. Essentially, you don't do any damage. So here I'm trying to save my origin, right, which is on my keybind, dead space. So I'm gonna use that to kind of like one-shot him. He's currently at 20%, and I'm hoping if I can pretty much get away from the blue ball and time it to where he's on the opposite end of the blue ball, I'll use my origin and hopefully deal enough damage to beat the boss. Alright, so 20%, 6 lives. It's not too scary right now, but this boss can get really tricky really fast. especially with these annoying damage reduction balls. Because in the case where the blue balls catches up to me, I will essentially lose my opportunity. So if I cast my origin skill and the blue ball catches up to me, it'll negate all the damage from my origin skill, and that's like the worst part. So I have to really time myself to where he's on the opposite end. Alright, so I'm just gonna buff up real here, and I think over here I'm just gonna jump, run to the opposite end. He's gonna teleport here, and then boom, this is my perfect chance. Use my origin. Perfect. So you can see the ball just barely caught up to me. I'm gonna jump out of there and do the rest of the damage. He's at 11% now. I still have a couple more bursts, but he should be ready to die. Alright, so we still have, you can see the ball got a little bit bigger. We're still at 11%. I think it does get bigger at 10% and below. There we go, 9.4, 8%. Almost there. Got cut and it died. Got 5 lives left. I'm still doing fine. I'm surprised it's only still 1 ball. Maybe it's at 5% and below. Alright, but essentially I should be killing him soon. Here with a couple more bursts. I just stun him here so he stays and doesn't go anywhere. And finish him off with 1 last burst. 7%, 0.7%, just one more attack, and that should finish him off. Right there. Boom. Easy. It's easy, but it's annoying. That's the only problem. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you guys had fun killing these 2 bosses. Unfortunately, I didn't get any pitch drops this time, but yeah, that is Lotus and Damien. Thanks, guys. Bye.